Breaking news on Donald Trump's growing unchecked power and the judiciary that is failing to rein him in. A federal appeals court just ruled that the president can send National Guard troops into Portland, Oregon, against the state's wishes. Two Trump-appointed judges on the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals sided with the man who appointed them, arguing that the deployment is justified because, quote, state and local law enforcement have been unable or unwilling to assist the government's efforts to protect the ICE facility in the city. In their own court documents, attorneys for the city of Portland and the state of Oregon wrote that protests around that facility had been small and largely peaceful for months, actually. Listen to this dissent from Judge Susan Graber, a Clinton appointee. Quote, given Portland protesters' well-known penchant for wearing chicken suits, inflatable frog costumes, or nothing at all when expressing their disagreement with the methods employed by ICE, observers may be tempted to view the majority's ruling, which accepts the government's characterization of Portland as a war zone, as merely absurd. But today's decision is not merely absurd. It erodes core constitutional principles, including sovereign states' control over their state's militias and the people's First Amendment right to assemble and to object to the government's policies and actions. Joining us now is Angelo Carusone. He's the president and CEO of Media Matters, and Ankush Khardori, former federal prosecutor and senior writer for Politico magazine. This was outrageous.
It was. This one, Ankush, really hit me in the gut for a number of reasons. And I want to focus in on what Simone highlighted from the court today, noting state and local law enforcement have been unable or willing to assist the government's efforts to protect the ICE facility in the city. Protect them from what? I really would like to understand what the judge thought was going on in Portland, that they would come to that conclusion that Donald Trump needed to inject federal troops into the city to protect the ICE facility from what? What evidence did he have? Turn on your television. You live in the Ninth Circuit. You're not that far from all the action. So help me understand, because this is where I land. I land on the Supreme Court decision that said all Donald Trump has to do is make something an official act, and the courts will go, yes, sir.
This is in line with that sort of view, which is that if the president says something, the administration says something, we take it at face value. I have to say, reading the opinion was very, very striking because they didn't just take the judge's ruling below and her factual findings. They just basically adopted every single representation that the government's witnesses put in the court below. They just cited the declarations, assumed it was all true, and then compiled, not just, to your point, like what is going on now. They went back months to like catalog events that they then combined to say, well, now this deployment is warranted because even in June, there was a couple of days or whatever when a certain road may have gotten shut down or something like that. But already another judge on the Ninth Circuit has called for, sua sponte means of his own volition, a sua sponte has called for a vote to hear the case en banc. And the Ninth Circuit.
What's en banc mean?
All the judges.
All of the judges, sorry.
Do you think that'll happen?
I think it probably will. Just because the ruling is really, really over the top. It is two Trump judges. The Ninth Circuit, the balance of the judges shifted a little bit, but it's still mostly Democratic appointees.
So much of this, even though this is being decided in the court of law, becomes about the imagery and about what people understand this to be. To your point about the fact that they just took the representations at face value, this is what a lower court judge had to say about the protests in Portland. On September 26th, the eve of the president's directive, law enforcement, quote, observed approximately 8 to 15 people at any given time out front of ICE, mostly sitting in lawn chairs and walking around. Energy was low, minimal activity. If you watch Fox News, that's not the impression you would get of what is happening in Portland. And by the way, that judge was a Trump appointee.
Yeah, I think the misinformation part of this is incredibly important on multiple levels. One, at the court level, and Ankush is right, the appeals court didn't accept the finding of fact. They just accepted the representations from government. And what's scary about that is that NYU just put out a study where they found that 35 courts have pointed out that the government has lied. The administration has lied to them. 35 courts have called them out for giving them false information. So you shouldn't be taking it at face value at anything. But this is because it's sitting on top of this larger cauldron of lies that has been been cooked and simmering on Fox News in particular. And what they've been doing, and all of those people at the Antifa hearing that Trump did, that meeting at the White House, they are all ostensibly right-wing media figures. Many of them, they call themselves journalists, but they're media figures, they're characters. And they have been pumping poison into the ecosystem for weeks. So because they do their own podcasts and streams, they're on the ground there. They have been not just creating these little flashpoints of imagery or pointing back to B-roll from 2020, saying there's fires burning and recycling that narrative. And of course, Fox will pick it up and run with it. But the largest story that they're putting on top of it is that it is chaos on the streets. And so that has been recycled in the right-wing echo chamber for weeks on weeks on weeks. And these are all figures that are on the ground there that are weaving together this false narrative. It is then being laundered and elevated through Fox News, then validated by the White House when he brings them to the White House to actually have this big meeting about Antifa and all this insurrection stuff that they're worried about. But it's all lies. It's all a fabrication. And it then gets finally legitimized by the court that sort of takes that spin and puts a stamp of approval on it when it makes these sort of judicial decisions.
Judge Graber spoke to the judge that dissented in the case. She spoke to this today, quote, in the dissent. We have come to expect a dose of political theater in political branches, drama designed to rally the base or to rile or intimidate political opponents. We also may expect there a measure of bending, sometimes breaking the truth. By design of the founders, the judicial branch stands apart. We rule on facts, not on supposition or conjecture, and certainly not on fabrication or propaganda. I urge my colleagues on this court to act swiftly to vacate the majority's order before the illegal deployment of troops under false pretenses can occur. Above all, I ask those who are watching this case unfold to retain faith in our judicial system for just a little bit longer. She was talking to me because I'm wavering. My faith is wavering in the judicial system. Donald Trump is testing the public. And by virtue of the public, he is testing us all, including the courts. And this is the test on whether we will accept a president using military force as a political tool. And today, at least 2 of the judges in the Ninth Circuit said, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think actually the point that Angelo made is a really important one, which is the credibility of the government in these courts has been just plummeting over the course of the year. And it's not just the lawyers who are walking in. I saw, Attorney General Pam Bondi did an interview on Fox last week with Sean Hannity, and it was really unhinged. She said that, Governor Pritzker doesn't care about Chicago. She described protesters as akin to MS-13, organized crime. She implied that they could start up a criminal investigation, and I'm not making this up, because so many of the signs are similar at the protests, which suggests some sort of background coordination with, involving Antifa or whatever. I mean, these are crazy things for an attorney general to say, and they are not true. But she's saying, this is coming from the most senior law enforcement official in the country.
So I'm sitting here and I'm listening and I'm thinking a little bit about the Gospels right now.
Which one?
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And what I hear from a lot of Republicans, Angela, I'm curious if you're hearing something similar, is a growing concern amongst all the other things that we've talked about in the last hour about Republicans being concerned about, is that what this administration is doing is setting a predicate that they themselves will get caught up in a future Democratic presidency. And it was noted in Axios, it won't stop with Trump. Came out today. Trump has stretched both power and punishment routinely, and in some cases dramatically. As we've written, the founders never envisioned a federal government this big and this powerful, or a president this unchecked. The result? Trump and future presidents hold the power, backed by precedent, right? Little thing known as precedent, to wield their vast authority to harm critics, help allies, and chill free speech. On the other end of this conversation, Republicans, my fellow Republicans, is a Democratic president who thinks and feels the way you do today. And when given the opportunity to look you in the eye, Speaker Johnson, for the decisions you made today, and use Leader Thune for the decisions you made today, decide to have their Department of Justice pull up some documents and write and fill in a few blanks.
You think so? Even though I'm thinking Nixon is the last example we have of this, and the people did not uphold their situation.
But
they pardoned him.
I understand it, but I think the point of this piece in Axios and where I'm going is that what is being opened here is a Pandora's box politically. that is detrimental ultimately to what this country stands for, the little thing called the rule of law, et cetera?
There is that is cooking in parts of the right-wing ecosystem, and it is. This idea that, hey, they're going to come back and get us. Now, it's worth keeping in mind that they already think that. That is the narrative that they've been living in for a while.
That's what got them here in the first place.
But there's a part of this that doesn't get a lot of attention that worries me, because they do make that point. What goes around comes around, so we better be careful here. What often doesn't get a lot of attention, because those little clips like Ted Cruz out there being a champion, they bubble up, those moments, they break out. But the second part of that story doesn't get a lot of attention, which is that's why we better win now. And if you take it in total, a lot of it really creates this weird position, because that I think is partly why you don't see some of the Republicans who may agree with that are not stepping up, partly because no one's really accepted the fact that this guy's a lame duck, which is, I think, increasingly scary. But what the basic premise is that, yeah, we're never going to let them take power again. That's why we have to go. That's why we have to play to win, because right now the rule of the game is not the rule of law, but might makes right. And we have the power, and we can never let it up. And that is the second part of that sort of thing that they put out there. Some people say, yeah, I don't want it to come around again. And it's like, yeah, and that's why you need to either stomach what Trump is doing, right? Why you need to go along with this stuff, even though you think it's wrong, even though you know it's ridiculous, even though it cuts against what you believe in free speech or freedom or America, because we need to win. Otherwise, they're going to come and get you twice as hard next time.
Who is the we there? MAGA?
That's it. It's MAGA.
It's largely MAGA.
And that is why you see some of the breaks with the newer parts of the, sort of like the podcast things that align with Trump the last cycle. They don't really see themselves as part of that we. Right. And so they're willing to be more vocal and critical on a lot of these things because they don't see themselves that way. But anyone that's really seen themselves as part of MAGA thinks, you know what, we now have made a deal with the devil. We have to go through with it because if we don't, they're going to come and get us. The
Trump administration is asking the Supreme Court to allow the National Guard to be deployed in Chicago now, to the point that Angela is making. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, I've just watched too much news, okay? I don't know. But they are operating, they as in the Republicans who are in charge of the government right now, and the Republican Party apparatus as it is currently constituted, are operating as though they are not going to be giving up power anytime soon. These are not operating like people that are concerned about losing a midterm election. They're not operating like they're concerned Wilson Sears about to lose in Virginia. These are people that are operating like they are about to take over.
Well, all throughout this period, since inauguration, they've had a lot of confidence in the Supreme Court. Pam Bondi has said over and over and over again, we might lose in the lower courts, but the Supreme Court is going to bail us out at the end of the day. We have a lot of confidence in the Supreme Court. This is an extraordinarily important appeal. And how the Supreme Court handles this is going to be hugely, hugely consequential. I think there may be a temptation for them to do another, unsigned order, another short summary thing. But the implications of this, the ruling, whichever way they go, are so enormous that this does require, I would hope, some serious attention. I am concerned for two reasons. One is that the 6 Republican appointees on the court have handed Trump a series of victories over the course of the year on extremely tenuous, if not extremely tenuous legal grounds. And two, they now have this decision out of the Ninth Circuit with these 2 judges that may sort of let them feel like they have some wind at their backs.
So we end where we began. The Supreme Court gave them the power by saying, hey, you call the shots, Mr. President. It's whatever you want it to be.